This podcast is part of the Pod Syndicate family. For more criminally compelling shows, articles, and conversations, head to wearepodsyndicate.com.
Get the behind-the-scenes information on the breweries and beers you love with What's on Tap's Brewery Sessions. It's MBCC time, the happiest time of the year. So this is the first big beer festival of the year, and we try to go every year. Last year, of course, we had COVID issues, and we were not able to make it. But this year, we were super excited to go back and try it out. Unfortunately, two things. Martin's always in a beer ticking frenzy, so he will not be co-hosting this episode. I'll probably run into him at the festival, but he will be like the Flash, just zooming around, going from one brewery to the next, trying to get all of their beers and taking them in Untapped. We'll do a wrap up with him at the end to see what he thought of the festival and how it went. But I was going to be joined by Mathias, but he had to bow out at the last minute, and instead, a longtime friend of the show, Chantra, will be joining me throughout some of the episodes, some of the interviews that we'll be doing this episode, over this episode and next week's episode. I really hope you enjoy this week's episode, and hope you continue to listen to next week's episode. We have some really fun and interesting breweries with some new places that we've never talked to before or heard of. So enjoy, and let us know what you think.
Okay, welcome to Mikkeller Beer Celebration 2022.
Thank you very much.
And we're talking with Peter Öl from Oi Brewing.
Yeah, Faroe Islands.
The Faroe Islands. That's
cool.
Kind of like far away, but yet close at the same time.
Yeah.
So what's the brewing scene like in the Faroe Islands?
We are not, we are 53,000 people in the Faroe Islands,
yeah.
So it's not a big population for too many brewers, but we have 2 breweries now in the Faroe Islands. One of them is 120 years old, and then we have another one that's about 10 years old.
Okay. And how long have you been around?
I've been working for these 2, both of them.
Okay.
And there were 2 breweries, but the bigger one bought the smaller one for a year ago, 2 years ago. And then there was some guys that say, okay, we don't want monopoly, we want some funny beer, and we make a brewery. So we made a new brewery called Oi Brewing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And what's your specialty there? What do you work with?
The specialty with that is that we have good contact with Mikkel. He's a very good friend of us. And we have people like us, is also a good friend of us. They're going to make some beer that we can export. So that's why we started, actually, because we were sure that we had some volumes to sell.
Yeah.
Because the population in Faroe Islands is not so big. Huh?
Do you think there's extra value in having a good water source in the Faroe Islands? Or makes a different special taste?
Yeah, I think so, yeah. The water in the Faroe Islands is very clean and very soft water. It's very good to make lager beer with, they say. Yeah.
Because we're trying a lager. You brought 2 lagers for this session.
Yeah.
What's the difference between the 2? You have
this one is a mainstream lager, 5.2%.
Yeah.
And the IBU is about 12. It's very clean taste,
Nice.
Faroese people like it very much because they don't like too much hoppy beer. The mostly of the
it's a beer
population.
you can drink all day long.
That's right.
Yeah, this is really, really drinkable. And it's funny because I would say overwhelmingly there are a lot of stouts here today and very few not stouts.
Okay.
So I mean, this is a real refreshing kind of pick you up kind of beer. Like I could drink a lot of this. This is so nice.
Thank you. It's good. Yeah. And we have also Italian brewer.
Yeah.
At the brew house. So. And he likes
North or South Italian?
Northern.
Okay.
He has been working in Spain and Norway and now it's Faroe Islands, and he likes very hoppy beer.
Yeah.
Strong beer, hoppy beer. So he made an imperial Italian Pilsner style also.
Yeah.
That's our 7.5 and the IBU about 77.
Right.
So
why focus so much on like lagers? I mean, do you do other styles as well, or is it just like
we started out with a lager because of the population in the Faroe Islands that that the local and it went spot on. They liked it. So after that one, I think we can make anything.
Start local.
Something I don't like, but you like, or whatever, huh?
Exactly.
So we're gonna make a lot of smoked beer or black beer or whatever, stouts, sour, fruit beer, whatever.
I feel like beer is going kind of like coffee. People used to want these macchiato, fancy frappuccinos, and now I just want coffee with milk. And I'm starting to feel the same way about beer.
That's right.
I just want a good lager.
Yeah. I've been in the festivals in Denmark a few times, and I can see all the trends are sometimes it's dark beer and stouts, and then it's the next year maybe it's sour, but now it's like Pilsner. Huh? I think people will have.
Yeah, I gotta say this is one of the better beers I've had here today.
Sounds good.
Just so smooth and easy drinking and very
clean and very clean taste. Yeah. Thank you.
So how does it feel to be here for the first year?
It's very good to be here. Yeah. It's very good. Very proud to be a part of this, and it was very struggle because we are not opening yet, but we had.
Do you have even opened it?
Wow! And we had delivered. The beer was delivered this morning, so.
Okay, that's really cutting it close there. Yeah.
Last night was like.
You're like, maybe we should go out and drink a lot of beer. And we'll be hungover. Won't care if it's.
It was shipped from Faroe Islands Tuesday, so it was here Thursday. So.
I doubt most people even could find Faroe Islands on a map or even have heard of it outside of, say, Scandinavia. Mm-hmm. So what makes Faroe Islands so unique? Like, what does it bring to the beer culture?
Beer culture, and we have a lot of good restaurants in Faroe Islands. We have also cooks that are a Michelin star. That gives us a lot of
Don't you take
population.
A helicopter there, or you can?
You could do that, But we have a lot. Yeah, we have a lot of tourists, and Faroe Islands are more and more popular. I think come visiting. So
you've seen like the tourism kind of
going up.
This
year is going to be the biggest one. 90 was also big, but this is going to be bigger. So.
Yeah, because I kind of see I think I moved to Scandinavia about 15 years ago, and no one talked about Faroe Islands, and now it seems to be the past 5 years, it's really starting to show up on people's maps as a destination spot.
Yeah. So it's a very people like also in Faroe Islands. You have a very short distance to everything. You are on the mountain and by the sea at the same time. So
it's not that big of an island. How many islands are in this? 18 islands.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
80 small islands. Huh?
I would not have figured that.
18.
No, 80.
18.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's much more than I thought.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
54,000 people, I think. Yeah.
Wow. And how many are inhabited?
How many
of the 18 islands are inhabited?
70.
Okay.
There's only one that's not.
Only one that's not. Oh wow.
I claim it. Can I claim it?
Yeah, you can move on to it yourself.
Oh yeah. Tent? I'll bring a tent.
You can go there. You can have a tent on the top of it.
Yeah.
One inhabitant.
Anything else you want to?
No, it was a pleasure to meet you. And
so when is your brewery opening?
20. Next Friday.
Oh, next Friday. So this would be. So by the time this comes out, it'll already open. So it's opening in May.
Yeah. We have an open in 20, and then we close again, and then we open in 25.
All right. And where is it located in the Faroe Islands?
Tórshavn.
Okay.
And Tórshavn is half of the population in the Faroe Islands.
All right. So if you're going to the island, you're going to have to hit that place because
and you are very welcome to visit us. You should do that.
Yeah, definitely.
It's only 2 hours flying from Copenhagen.
I know, it's so close.
Yeah.
We would love to. Cheers.
Cheers.
Thank you very much.
And I will give you a tour.
Oh, that'd be wonderful.
On the brewery, yes, of course. Yeah.
All right, thanks. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, so welcome to the podcast. And go ahead and state your name.
So name is Charlie Wood from Crossover Blendery. So we're a small blendery just north of London on a farm in Weston.
So what separates a blendery from a, say, brewery per se?
So we're very much following the sort of Belgian lambic tradition, whereby we get our wort made off-site. We get it made at a brewery called Elgood's, which is in Wisbech in Cambridgeshire. The brewery's now just over 250 years old, and the reason why we use them is they've got an 8,000 litre cool ship. So we prepare the recipe we get it brewed at Elgood's, and then we go down. It gets brought down to our site where we ferment it spontaneously in barrels. We've now been going for just over 2 years, so still quite early in the project.
So I have to ask, why? Like, why do a blendery over, say, a brewery? Like, what made you think this was the path to go on?
So we only brew during the cold months, and we're only brewing 4 or 5 times a year. So for us to have a full-time brewery, it'd be obsolete for 9 months of the year.
Yeah.
So for us, we focus on fermentation and maturation of the beer.
Yeah, but I mean, this is like a real pre-decision to begin with, because it's much easier to open a brewery and just be like, we're going to do some like lagers, IPAs, things like that.
Right, and then raspberry? And cherry. Cherry? Raspberry cherry?
Just cherry.
So what made you think, like, I want to do a blendery, like, I want to do a cool ship blendery over something else?
So me and George, the guy who set it up, we weren't brewers before.
Yeah.
So for us, we're more interested in the fermentation of the beer, rather we're not brewers. So we leave that to this guy, Alan Pateman, who's had 40 years experience. We design the recipes, and we get more obsessed about, you know, looking at different types of fruit, different types of grain, different barrels we use, you know.
Specializing, really.
Yeah, exactly.
You get really into like the nerdery of the process then.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I love fruits, and we're also, this is a 100% British product.
Okay.
So we are using British grains, hops, and then fruit, and we really dig into different varieties of fruit as well.
All right, so what did you bring for this session?
So for this session, we've got 2 golden ales, both fermented for just over 18 months. One is with Morello cherries, which is a sour cherry variety from Kent. And then we've got Timperley Early rhubarb from Worcestershire in the UK as well.
How did you decide what you were going to bring? I mean, I'm sure you had a lot of options, or did you have to like really pre-plan it out way in advance?
Yeah, I mean, for us, we're a very small production, so it's like whatever we've had ready. We brought 8 different beers, most of them fruited, and we brought 1 base beer as well, because we're still quite young in the process. You know, if you drink a lambic Gers, that is a blend of a 1-year-old beer, a 2-year-old beer, a 3-year-old beer, and then conditioned for a year. Whereas we're only 2 years into the project, so still quite young. We're still waiting for a lot of acidity to come on in our beers.
What's one of your first beer memories that made you want to get into this? Like, what spurred the idea?
So a good friend of mine's dad used to drink Cantillon Gers when we were like 15 or 16 years old. So we kept on drinking that, and I was just like, I'm absolutely amazed by it. You know, the complexity, how thought-provoking it was. And then off the back of that, wanted to do spontaneous beer, but with a real British focus on it.
Wow, that's pretty great. I think growing up, my dad drank mostly Budweiser, so I feel like you have a much better parent.
Yeah, you started off with a palate cleanser.
Yeah.
So, how do people find your beers?
So we are mainly online in the UK. We're starting to do a bit more export. We're also starting to keg a bit more beer. We're about to send some beer to Korea, Singapore, Norway, and France and Italy. So we've got a lot going on, trying to get our beer out there a bit more.
It's something you're really branching out and expanding your roots, and it's really great because I love this process and I love the Guz method. So how do you describe that? What do you call yourself? Because you don't probably call yourself a Guz, but a spontaneous wild ale, or a British wild ale, or?
It's very hard to categorize our style of beer. I mean, unfortunately get lumped into the whole sour category. We try and steer clear of that because we are making beer with acidity. It does take a bit longer than a lot of these other quicker turnaround beers. Not to say one's better than the other, but we are trying to put ourselves into a sort of wild ale category. But it's been tough.
Yeah, I mean, because like in the US, everything's called American Wild Ale now. So do you think there's going to be a European Wild Ale from here, kind of demarcation?
I think potentially. We're still so far behind you guys in terms of the beer market. But there's more and more people making barrel-aged beers, and I think it's just going to continue to develop. But it's an interesting time to be in the UK.
Continue to roll, if you would say. Continue to roll the barrel.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So what do you like? So what do you look for when it comes to different fruits, or is there more fruits you prefer to brew with than other ones, or how do you make those decisions?
So we are, being British, we don't have such a rich, we've got a rich history of fruit growing, but a lot of the fruits now are just grown for the supermarket. So it's basically a lot of berries, blackberries, raspberries, cherries, and plums. So we're trying to find ancient orchards within the UK of guys growing these more esoteric varieties of fruits.
Yeah.
So for us, we've done a beer with apricots, which we got from the Isle of Wight, which is a small island just south of the UK. They used to grow lots of, grapes down there. It's on the same latitude as a lot of the fruit growers in Europe. So amazing apricots from there. Morello cherries is the classic one for this type of beers. And lots of berries. We've just done some super berries, which is Aronia, honeyberries, and what was the other one? I've gone completely mad. I can't remember now.
Another one, yeah.
So playing. Yeah.
That's great. I know that J. Fontaine does a lot of. They've started their own kind of bringing back older varietals and older orchards and things like that. So it's really great to see that you're kind of reaching back to try to find these ancient fruit styles, because everything's become so homogenized in the fruit production. So I mean that's really admirable.
So we've also done a project with our landowners. We planted 200 fruit trees, just in strips of trees. We've got Morello cherries, plums, green gages, peri pears, cider apples, and hopefully in 5 to 10 years' time we'll have a meaningful crop off those trees.
Anything else you'd like to share with us today?
So we started as COVID hit, so not the best start, but we are, this is our first festival, which is pretty awesome.
The first festival ever?
Yeah.
Oh wow, congratulations.
Yeah, so it's a real treat to be here speaking to people, because we've just been sitting in a barn blending beer for the last 2 years. So
it's like a movement, farm to glass.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
That's farm to table is farm to glass now.
Well, good luck.
Thank you for your time, man. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
Really, really great.
Cheers.
Nice to meet you. And did you have a good emotion?
All right, welcome to the podcast, and you are?
My name is Robert Slack from Pulpit Rock Brewing Company, Decorah, Iowa.
All right, and so there's a lot of great breweries out of Iowa, man. What's going on in that state? It's kind of a flyover state, so no one thinks, when I'm thinking brewing beer, I don't think Iowa.
Well, there's a revolution that's happening right now. Sorry, I'm trying to pour beers at the same moment.
Yeah, I know.
We're here at MBCC 22, one of each. Sorry. I think my favorite part about my home state is that we're all very friendly and we all get along with each other, and we like to do a lot of collabs, and I think it's for the greater good. I think is why there's such good beer in our state. So.
Oh yeah. Let's go ahead and pour a little bit.
Wait, we can just redo it.
I can wait. Yeah. All right, so take two. Welcome to What's on Tap podcast. Who are you? What do you do?
My name is Robert Slack. I'm a brewer at Pulpit Rock Brewing Company in Decorah, Iowa.
All right, and Iowa has an amazing beer culture. How did that happen?
Truth be told, I think it's the camaraderie between all of us brewers. We're all really good friends. We like to do a lot of collabs, and we all learn and grow from each other.
So how long has Pulpit Rock been around?
We're about to celebrate 7 years this August.
7 years, really? Yeah. Oh, wow.
And too many beers.
And very, very too many beers. Yeah. So what got you into brewing to begin with?
Kind of like a classic kid, you take a exchange trip to Germany or somewhere, and then you try something that isn't just Busch Light, and then you're like, holy moly, this is good. So classic German Hefeweizens, Pilsners, but actually for me, the thing I fell in love with the most are actually Belgian beers. The first time I saw a corked 750 of Belgian beer, it blew my mind. It was like, beer can be champagne.
Exactly. Well, I mean, I gotta say, my favorite beer at the festival has been the stout that you brought.
Well, thank you very much. It's called Oh Joy. a lot of breweries have a lot of play on one of America's favorite candy bars. So this one has coconut, almonds, and golden Oreos in it.
Yeah, and the mouthfeel was just so rich and luxurious, and you just kind of wanted to really enjoy and take your time with it, which is crazy because at beer festival you're just like chug, 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 move on to the next thing. It's like, no, I got to slow down for just 1 second and enjoy this.
Luckily, there's enough pilsners here to break it up.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of pilsners. It's kind of crazy because there's a ton of stouts here this year, and it feels like you've really distinguished yourself amongst a high breed of breweries here.
It's funny you say that because I felt like I was going to throw up this morning. I was so nervous. This feels like the Olympics for me. So
I bet. So I mean, do you go to a lot of beer festivals in the U.S.?
Yeah, we're a little bit more selective now, but I actually agreed to go to a bunch of our Friends Fest and new Friends Fest. So you'll probably see us at a bunch this year. We're going to go to Weldworks at the end of June, Barrel Culture, and then we got invited to a bunch of fests. Barrel Culture's in October, and then we got invited to a bunch of fests this next year. So.
All right, great. So what do you guys specialize in? Are you just kind of doing everything, or is it something that you really try to focus on?
We try to do everything, but I think people know us for our pastry sours and pastry stouts. We have a very small BA program. It's growing. We only have about 36 barrels right now, but those usually have a pretty good reception. We do a lot of canned non-barrel aged stouts that are adjuncted, like the one you had earlier, Oh Joy. The pastry sours we've been doing for a long time, but truth be told, we're kind of over making those beers. We're still going to make them, but like we would love to drink lagers, and so we're trying to brew more lagers. So our friends at Fair State are teaching us the way. So a little bit of everything, but mostly pastry.
Do you have a question? I have a question. Do you have any ingredient you haven't worked with that you're kind of wanting to do?
Oh boy, we're not our friends Forager using the fire ants, but but I don't know. I guess for me, one of our projects that we're going to start working on is actually dealing with just more simple, honest beers that use local grains. So we actually have a really cool connection with some farmers that's in its infancy right now, but we're trying to grow that. So at one point, I would like to make an all Iowa ingredient beer and just be, a very simple beer that anybody can drink and priced very well. So.
Actually, that's kind of a theme we've been seeing at the festival here, is a lot of breweries really focusing on local resources. So how important is that to you in your processes?
Well, at a certain point, we're all buying from the same producers, so if you can get an ingredient that another company doesn't have, then you can at least distinguish yourself that way. So I guess to me, that's a component to it, but it's also, with climate change, the fact that we can maybe supply our grain from not that many miles away versus, don't get me wrong, I love German and British malts, but let's be real here. It'd be cool if we could get it all in our area. I mean,
especially kind of Iowa is known for wheat fields and corn fields, so it feels like you should be able to get that there pretty easily.
A lot of corn.
Yeah. Corn. That's Kansas.
A lot of corn.
That's Nebraska.
A lot of pork.
Yeah.
Corn, not corn.
Yeah.
And Busch Light.
And a fun fact, you're from Iowa, I'm from Missouri, he's from Arkansas. So we're stacked.
There we go.
We're stacked.
A totem pole.
Yeah, we're in the flyover zone of America. So what's next for you? What is your distribution like within the state of Iowa? How do you get your beer? How do people find you?
So originally it's taproom only. We're doing a tiny amount of can distro. Although talk to Marco here from Mikkeller. He's a really nice guy, and he wants to take a pallet of our beer. So we might ship some kegs.
That'd be amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, in the near future. But for the most part, all of our special release stuffs are taproom, and then small amount of can drops here and there, basically just in liquor stores, some restaurants in Iowa. So.
All right, cool. And where in Iowa are you from?
West Union. So if you're actually from there, you say it like West Union with a CH.
Yeah.
Union. West Union. That's how we know each other, but on paper it is West Union.
All right. It's kind of like if I meet somebody from the South and I hear they're from the, I'm like, whereabouts you from.
Louisville.
Yeah. It's not like where are you from, it's whereabouts, because that's how you know. That's how you identify each other.
No, we're a small knit crew, and we look after each other. So.
So how do you see you guys expanding, or are you planning to expand?
I think we're actually comfortable where we're at. There's so many awesome breweries, and there's more breweries to come. I guess I would prefer to stay the size we are now and just focus on quality rather than volume.
Yeah.
And try to get more and more people to come to our tap room.
Well, I got to say, you guys are doing really, really great stuff. I've tried all 3 of your beers. They've been amazing, all of them, for this session. And I really...
When we go back home, maybe take a trip to Iowa.
Yeah, we're going to go to Iowa and try out some more beers.
If you come, we'll drink some Busch Lights. It'll be great.
Oh, that'd be perfect. That's what we're looking for. All right, well, thank you for your time. I really appreciate it.
Yeah. Thank you. Cheers.
Cheers. So we're at MBCC, and today we're talking to return guest Hannes Grubber from Nerdbrewing.
Yes.
Welcome, man.
Thank you.
So you've made it to, I guess, the big times.
Yeah. This is our first time here. I've been waiting for an invitation for a long time.
And it's very well deserved. And I gotta say, you have had like a crazy 2 years.
Yeah.
So that the COVID pandemic has been quite a change for you guys.
Yeah, it was in the beginning, all exports just disappeared. So we had to focus more on Systembolaget, and then exports picked up. And we moved to another facility, way larger, bigger, better and bigger location.
You're kind of bearing the lead here, which is you started your own brewery collective called Molecule.
Yes. So it was me, Nerdbrewing, Shad Beer, and Elm 11. So we joined forces, we basically had to come up with a company name. So we came up with Molecule, but we still keep our brands.
I mean, that makes sense because you're individual atoms that are creating a molecule of breweries there. So what made you guys want to join forces?
We had been working together. I started working together with Shadbeer and Lilla Ölfabriken. That was quite a long time ago, and joined their company. And then Lilla Ölfabriken, Patrick that ran Lilla Ölfabriken, didn't really have the time to continue. And then Anders came in with Elm 11. We had such a good thing going on, so we thought it was the right thing to do to just join, work as one company instead of 3 separate ones.
And how has that changed things for you?
Well, we help each other out with everything. We brew each other's beers and everything, so it's just way better to be 3 persons running the company together instead of 1 people handling a separate company.
Yeah.
So it's and of course the admin stuff. It's a lot easier to run 1 company instead of 3.
Yeah, but have you seen your footprint grow? I mean, you went from like never being a Systembolaget to it feels like you have like 3 or 4 beers on the shelf at any given time.
Yeah. Yes, definitely. I think COVID was kind of we had to move into Systembolaget because the exports that was the main focus before basically just stopped overnight.
Why is that?
Every importer since every bar closed, everything shut down, and everyone was kind of unsure what would happen, so they basically stopped importing. Then it picked up again a few months later, but in the early days of COVID, everything just shut down. So we had to like focus on Systembolaget, and that has worked out nicely as well.
Yeah, and you've also really increased your production levels. So now you have your, I think, 3 or 4 different lines, and you have your barrel aged line, and it seems like you're always innovating and coming out with new stuff.
Yeah, that's what's fun, right? Just experimenting, trying different things. I have too many beer ideas to just brew the same thing over and over again. I want to try new stuff. And the barrel aging program is, of course, maybe the most exciting part. Trying different barrels, different base recipes, how they work in different kinds of barrels, stuff like that.
Yeah, I've really enjoyed those, and they've been quite a variety of barrel styles and beer styles. And have you found one that you think works better than others, or how do you pick like which beer goes in which barrel?
It's a bit. I mean, you usually try to think what base beer would suit this barrel, but it's. I mean, we have only released like 12 different beers, so we're still experimenting, and we want to try different barrels, see what works, what doesn't work. So far, everything has worked out, I think. But sometimes when you taste something from the barrel, then you can sort of think maybe this would go well if we add some, I don't know, coconut, or if we add some licorice or whatever, and you can kind of adjust the beer based on what the barrel character you got from the barrels, and sort of adjust from there.
So how did you decide what to bring to the festival?
It was actually a little bit like what do we have, since we need to bring.
How early out do you get notified that you've been accepted? So
yeah, we've known for at least, I don't know, 4 months or something.
Okay.
Like,
yeah.
Since we so we basically from that point on we kept saving kegs from the beers we did from that point on, so we could bring up 8 different beers. Because we usually don't really have a big stock.
Yeah, you have just a lot of kegs lying around on average. Yeah. You guys kind of burn through what you have pretty quick, so yeah. It's kind of fun because it's just like, oh, like if you know in Malmo or in Skåne region, like, oh, there's a Nerdbrewing on tap, you got to go get it now because it may not be there tomorrow. Yeah, so it's kind of always fun and exciting.
Yeah, yeah, that's our aim. And of course, we like to brew new stuff. That's what's exciting for us. So it comes naturally somehow. Yeah.
Yeah. So where can we find you over the summer? Like,
oh, we will do. We have lots of stuff planned. But we have lots of festivals and tap takeovers. Try to get some summer vacation as well.
So you're having tap takeovers. Where are you doing those?
We're having one next week at Malmö Tap Room, actually, and we're bringing all 3 brands. So Nerdbrewing, Elm11, and Shad Beer, and then yeah, we have lots of stuff planned. Try to have some free time as well.
Yeah, I mean, you got to spend some time with your family, your wife and kids, and you know, see them, you know, from time to time.
Yes.
You know, do your actual job, you know, things like that. So
things like that.
Yeah. Well, man, I'm super excited for you guys. I'm so glad you're here. It's so glad to finally see like Skåne representation at MBCC because like it's been crazy. Every time I've come here in the past, I'm kind of like, I mean, it's great that they've gone afar to find breweries, but there's so many amazing breweries in their own backyard that they've completely overlooked.
Yeah. I've just To be honest, I've just been waiting for an invitation for a long time, but finally.
How does it feel to be here now?
It's awesome.
Yeah.
You meet so many nice brewers, and you can really geek out on how did you do this beer,
Yeah.
or how did you use this ingredient. And
Are we going to see some crazy collaborations coming up in the future?
yeah, hopefully. I was just talking to Forager over there, and we said we both had a barley wine, somewhat made from the same base malt and stuff. So we said we tried each other's barley wine and thought we should do one together.
Yeah, that'd be great. I would love to try that. It's gonna be amazing. Yeah. I love Humble Forager, so that would be or Forager actually.
Awesome.
No, that'd be. How do you put a Forager and Humble Forager next to each other?
I think
that's just confusing.
I think they're connected somehow.
Oh, are they? Okay, I wasn't really sure because I've tried both of them and I didn't realize they were connected. So, all right. Well, thank you for your time. I think I love you guys, and I'm so glad to see you continuing to growing and expand. And you know, I remember back when we first interviewed you, it was just like really small, only doing exports, and now it feels like you guys have really are starting to stretch your wings and really like get out there in the world and get exposure. So
yeah, we're trying.
Yeah. I really appreciate it. Thanks.
Thank you.